Hello everyone and welcome back to my official The GH24 News YouTube channel. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we begin, hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Jax and Vaughn putatively had a chemistry test in their first scenes together, but did they pass? Are Vaughn and Josslyn hot or not as an implicit romantic brace? Although Vaughn is a bit aged than Josslyn and in further of a tutor part, we could imagine him falling for her ultimately. Vaughn is Josslyn's tutor, but he'll inescapably grow near to the new novitiate as they get to know each other better. Grounded on how effects played out in GH's March, Vaughn feels like Josslyn is too romantic and that she has a lot to learn. Still, there was a fun and nearly kittenish vibe to some of the fight scenes Josslyn and Vaughn engaged in. In an interview with SOD, Bryce Durfee also talked about Eden McCoy being a drinking co-star and suggested they had instant chemistry. That clearly makes it sound like McCoy and Durfee's characters might head into sizzling home ultimately. Vaughn dived Josslyn to the bottom doubly and indeed let his adulatory hair suspend down toward her at one point. Josslyn also took Vaughn down by delivering a comical mega-hit to the groin, so those scenes had the material of implicit love. At the veritably least, we could imagine Josslyn pretending to be a couple with Vaughn as part of a charge or commodity along those lines. It could pave the way for a kiss between Vaughn and Josslyn, so they might feel a real spark in the midst of the facade. Josslyn is still grieving Dex Heller, but cleaner characters don't generally get a chance to mourn veritably long before their coming pairing. Indeed, if Josslyn and Vaughn don't turn into a serious couple, the show's immolation up comforting Dex 2.0 and could be laying the route for some romantic moments. How did you feel about Bryce Durfee's debut as Vaughn? Are you lodging for Vaughn and Josslyn to cross a romantic line sooner or laterally? Jack Brennan presumably would authorize, but our prognostications allude it may be out of his hands if Josslyn and Vaughn let themselves surrender to temptation anyway. Josslyn will continue to deal with some big life changes, so stay tuned for updates on all the stunning news that's in store. Willow Corinthos when their love inescapably falls piecemeal. Let's talk about how Drew might pour swab in the crack when the time comes. Willow views Drew as an idol, but he's virtually come a villain rather. Drew is constantly playing dirty to get what he wants and doesn't feel to watch who he hurts in the process. Still, Willow's bubble is going to burst sooner or laterally. Once Willow sees Drew for who he really is and his secrets are exposed, their relationship may not last long. Drew prevaricated when Jason Morgan demanded him to back up his justification, but Willow rushed to Drew's defense when Carly Spencer complained. Willow could get updates on the Verity down the road and have a big problem with it. That's especially true since Willow raised her fidelity to Drew in the fate of his deception and decided to move in with him. Of course, now Drew is blackmailing Portia Robinson following a deal with mobmaster Selena Wu. All of that could boomerang on Drew in the end. That said, the biggest secret Drew's keeping remains his former alliances with Nina Reeves. There are a couple of ways GH Pens could take this depending on how they want the drama to go down. It's possible Nina will come clean or that Willow will find out the news another way. Drew's fling with Nina could be a huge reason why Willow turns against him. Also again, Willow might turn against Drew for his other falsehoods and rotten jest. Rather. In that case, Drew might use his secret fling exposure to hurt Willow and drag Nina down with him. Either way, Drew might try to induce some pain once Willow's ready to walk out on him and no way look back. It's easy to imagine Drew saying 6 cruel words under those circumstances: your mama was better in bed. That seems like a good way for Drew to hit Willow where it hurts and prove he's truly disgusting. Willow's prognostications about her coming romantic chapter won't turn out the way she expects. Lulu Spencer just stumbled onto a whopper, Brooke Lynn. Quartermaine had a baby with Dante Falconeri as a teenager and gave it up for relinquishment, all without breathing a word to him. His disclosure has Lulu ready to blow the whoosh, and Brooke Lynn is sweating pellets. She and her ma, Lois Cerullo, are about to be in fear mode, and who better to call in for backup than the family's Iron Lady, Tracy Quartermaine. Lulu's urgency to acquaint Brooke Lynn in on what she knows will probably have Lois scrabbling for cover. The nanosecond Lulu set about Brooke Lynn kept Dante in the dark about their long misplaced sprat. She was ready to light the match. Brooke Lynn is sweating, telling Dante now could blow up her life, especially with Harrison Chase in the blend. While Lulu doesn't know that Giovanni Gio Palmieri is Brooklyn and Dante's long-misplaced son, Lois does. So it's anyone's conjecture whether Lois will partake that bit in confidence with Tracy. Tracy is no foreigner to applying her leverage, and this juicy reproach might be right up her alley. She's got a tight bond with Lulu, ex-stepmother vibes die hard, but will she use it to keep her quiet? Tracy could suspend some serious influence to cover Brooklyn, perhaps brooding sweet nothings about family fidelity or tossing a many bones Lulu's way. She's got the cash and the cunning to make problems vanish, and silencing Lulu could be her coming chess move. But if Lulu's stubborn band kicks in, she's a Spencer. After all, Tracy might have to up the figure. The question is, how far will she go to keep Dante in the dark and Brooklyn's secret buried? Jason Morgan and Anna Devane are out chasing Valentine Cassadine to nab Charlotte Cassadine for Lulu, but if they bomb again, Lulu's heart will shatter. Enter Tracy, smelling an opening. What if she offers to use her Quartermain leverage, cash, connections, the workshop to bring Charlotte home, but only if Lulu clams up about Brooklyn's baby? It's a gut-punch deal silence for her son. Portia Robinson is no foreigner to secrets, but her rearmost bone. Maybe the most dangerous yet. With Congressman Drew Quartermain applying grim pressure, blackmailing her into getting an asset in his shorefront beachfront scheme, Portia is running out of options. Hopeless to cover herself and her marriage to Curtis Ashford, she's turned to the one man who might be suitable to help, but trusting Rick Lansing could be the biggest mistake she ever makes. Still, her concession could set off a chain to Rick bring Heather Weber response that brings one of Port Charles's most dangerous women back to city. Heather Weber. If Rick has his way. Drew has been playing dirty, and Portia is his rearmost target. After discovering dangerous information that could bring Portia her medical license, and conceivably her freedom, Drew didn't vacillate to use it as influence. He wants control, and he's willing to manipulate anyone to get it. Portia has spent her life erecting her career and guarding her family, but now everything she's worked for is hanging by a thread. Caught between Drew's pitfalls and the fear of losing Curtis, Portia knew she demanded help. But rather of passing in her hubby, she made a move that could boomerang spectacularly, turning to Rick. Portia is no fool. She knows that if Drew follows through on his pitfalls, she could lose everything. So, she reached out to Rick, a man with a history of walking the fine line between legal genius and outright corruption. Rick has erected a career out of twisting the law to serve his own requirements, and Portia is hoping he can find a way to neutralize Drew's influence before it's too late. But can she really trust him? Rick has no way been one to help out of the virtuousness of his heart, and if Portia's concession presents an occasion for him to recapture power in Port Charles, he wouldn't vacillate to take full advantage. And if he does, it could have far-reaching consequences, including setting the stage for Heather's return. Still, there's no telling how far he'll go, if Rick sees an occasion to exploit Portia's situation. His history is riddled with underhanded dealings, and he could use Portia's secrets to rebuild his own influence in city. But what if he needs a wild card to truly tip the scales in his favor? Enter Heather. She has been biding her time, pretending to be at peace with leaving Port Charles behind as she moved down with her son. But before she left, she rumored a chilling pledge to her grandson, baby Ace Cassadine, she'd be back. Still, it might be the perfect reason for Heather to make good on that oath, if Rick's maneuvering sets off a chain response. Do you see her turning up in city soon? Partake your studies with us and keep checking back for further GH news and spoilers. Port Charles might not be ready for Heather's return, but if she does come back, no bone. Not Portia, Rick, or indeed Drew, will be safe from the storm she brings with her.